30 seconds left to actually look at a good old SSG strat. No one has broken it apart yet. Well, Na'Vi are going to be very hard pressed because this is the round to do so.
I think we're going to be seeing possibly a similar attack coming in from Na'Vi. We have the 6th pick there from Citizen going onto the knock, so he obviously wants to move through that map quickly and undetected would be my suggestion. So he just wants to get in amongst them and start mixing things up quickly. We'll see if that is something that he can achieve. But ultimately, this result isn't too much of a surprise. Don't get me wrong, Space Station Gaming are looking electric at this point, and they are looking very, very dangerous. That said, Clubhouse is the SSG map. We know that. We know that they're going to come in and they're going to play well here. The big question for me about SSG now is looking towards map number 2. I'm not saying that this one is necessarily over, but I would be surprised to see Na'Vi gain anything from it. In reality, we're looking toward big claims towards getting onto that live stage.
I mean, Lycan, again, I sat down with him for about half an hour last night and said, you know, how are you guys feeling about tomorrow? Like, what are you thinking? And he said, people look at us in Pro League and see us playing best of ones and think that describes who we are as a team. Compared to others, we are a LAN team. We shine the most in best of 3 when strategy and, you know, the map rotation really plays into our favor because we feel comfortable in what we do. And he even said the map that we pick, teams will not beat us on. And so far, against the current Pro League champions, they are showing that to be absolutely true. One more round and they'll close this out. And as you say, we go into Consulate, which I would expect to go Na'Vi's way, but that remains to be seen. Now, we have managed to see a bit of play coming through from Citizen here to disrupt the flow of things on this Nook, trying to get in away from the camera so no one knows where he is, trying to sneak out a kill or two, because getting rid of this middle floor Canadian Vigil, that is the big play. Now he's in a spot here to maybe make that happen, but Citizen almost gets him out. Not quite though, both of them are put down to about 25 to 40% HP. Not the end of the world, but now that Nook's presence is known. It's camera hider versus camera hider in this case. Both of them are hidden away from drones or cameras around the map.
And it's just another great example of why this strategy works so well. We've got 4 now stacking up on the Jacuzzi wall with a minute and a half to go. They are going to be very, very short of time when it finally comes to a point of pushing onto site. We can see shots being put through the soft wall from Saves there, just trying to catch somebody out. We've got Canadian in stock, will ultimately lose his life to Citizen, but he will not mind having wasted a minute and 40 of the round. This is going to become a big rush at this point. We've got 4 of SSG all heading back to site now, and this is a great example of exactly how the strategy works. So we've wasted nearly 2 minutes top floor. We've managed to get back to site with 4 alive. We've taken 1 with us, and that now leaves us in a 4 versus 4 with only a minute for the attacking team to aggress onto site. But if Na'Vi can keep aggressing like that, they might not have too much of a problem. Great vertical kill coming in from Saves there. Now 4 versus 3 in favour of Na'Vi. The only thing against them here is potentially the clock.
This is the problem, like you say, 30 seconds to go, and they're only just starting to look downstairs. This is the kind of thing you would expect to be doing inside of 60 seconds. So what's the call? Let's go for a rush, boys, down into what I call the death box. Because if a C4 rains down here, you will die. And, well, Kendry walks onto site and gets himself popped. It's into a 3 versus 3. 20 seconds left on the clock. Looking through the hatches now, trying to find a kill. Not yet to be found. Rampy picks up 1, thinking Nate in second. It's down to a 3 versus 1. SSG's strategy remains firm.
And trying to shut down a few players from Space Station early in the round, which, to be honest, they've barely been able to do. There's been maybe 2-3 rounds where I think Foxay or someone else has had success getting 1 or 2 kills, but that's been it. This round, though, is going to be a little bit different on the attacking side. Laxing moves in, catches the opener against the Mute, played by Thinking Nade.
Well, Canadian finds some safe harbor inside of stock. So far for Reciprocity, they've bagged 1 kill. It's that Mute you see at the top of your screen, but they still have a long road ahead of them. A lot of wasted time as this is SSG's first extended roam that they've had in the basement. Canadian still holding on to an impact, more than likely used 1 earlier to make a rotate. Kept 1 on him just to pop one of the hatches so he could get back downstairs. As Nyx is doing the same thing, but instead he's doing it the traditional way. Instead of jumping down a hatch, he's gonna walk down a staircase like a regular man.
But let's start checking out what's waiting for him in the 90 hallway in the basement. Foxay with the entry into Kitchen. There was someone that actually was going to try and fire back, but Fultz just a couple seconds too late to catch that, sadly. So, for the time being, the Habana does have control of the Kitchen. And Foxay will be able to try and work towards getting those hatches open if he so wishes over these next few seconds.
There is still a deep roamer all the way upstairs for SSG. It's Rampy. They know he's here. I don't think they do. Some quick shots onto Laxine, and that's the EMP's gone, folks. If thinking Nate has mute set upstairs, they can't get rid of them unless Nyx can try and find some soft flooring to shoot them through. Canadian pushes it even further, taking down Retro. Oh no, this is not looking like a good round for Reciprocity as Rampy takes down Vert, grabs the double. Foxe getting injured by impacts. Hasn't been down just yet though. Nyx works his way down blue, claims himself a Bosco. Only 30 seconds remain. Nyx, Foxe, Rampy on rotation, making a triple for him. Have a day, my friend. Nyx walks into yet another Legion mine. The IQ not using that sensor to his liking. Does have the LMG, could work it out, but it's not gonna matter. Rampy with the quad up.
Scares if you're thinking they knowing that somebody's pushing up. Space Station took fights that they didn't need to take.
I think they knew where a lot of players were, though, position-wise, that they didn't have the previous round.
Absolutely. And I mean, the Sonics could have done the same, but they just sat and they waited. Speaking of the Sonics, this is a strategy that they employed downstairs with the castle barricades, as was mentioned. It's now going to be Space Station doing similar things on a church defense. Could it be our final round here on Clubhouse before we have Coastline next on deck? We saw Coastline get played by Space Station yesterday as they were victorious over Dark Zero. Canadian is nestled very safely, nice, snug, and tight on that main.
I don't feel like he's ever had a lot of success as Vigil, even though he plays it so much. I mean, he's great at burning time, but I just don't see him get a lot of kills from this, and jumping back to side here seems like a better play.
But I mean, if you look at the way that Canadian has been played on both Evil Geniuses and now Space Station over the last 7-8 months, his job isn't necessarily to get kills.
Oh no, don't get me wrong.
Taking some scorn, you know, or drawn some scorn, I guess you could say.
I would just like to see him be a little bit more of a lethal pest.
I mean, I think Vigil's doing his job the best here, as you need him to, right? 90 seconds in, and what has Sonics done? They've taken out a couple castle barricades, they've taken some map control on that main floor, but they've spent utility in the process. There's a lot of drones that have been destroyed, and that's the big thing. The more you lose those drones, the less opportunity you have to know where the defenders are going to be playing downstairs, because you suspect, rightfully so, that most of the defenders will be on that bottom floor. But where? Is there somebody playing close in church? Is there somebody in blue? You never really know.
Luckily, there's not a ton of positions to play, but they are going to at least try and pressure blue here, it seems. And also they're droning a little bit downstairs, but you know, like you said, a little bit less time to work with than they usually have, and a little less utility. Clearing all those castle barricades without a sledge, just it burns up a lot. Yes, technically they didn't need to clear those out once they cleared out all the roamers, but you don't know that, and you certainly don't want anyone sneaking up on you later.
It looks like it's going to be a single lone push on blue from Slevin while the rest of the team hot drops over towards Moto. Shots ring over the head of Canadian as blue control is still in favor of Space Station. Flash goes out behind him, won't flash him, but you can see that Thinking Nate is totally blind. He gets down. 2 from Space Station as they look to lock this one out. First map could go in their favor. Comfy refrags onto Bosco. Rampy and Super trade off. Unable to land his shots as Rampy, so it's a 2v1 with Fultz yet again. UMP in hand, won't be able to do it. He gets outgunned by...
Now, of course, if SSG wins this, we will go to the then final map.
What? Wait, no.
Oh, is this a run from Nip? That's 2 big kills for Bosco! He gets shut down by Kamikaze, and there the rush fails for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's just Pino and Julio in a 2 versus 4. An advantage early for SSG thanks to Bosco's diligence.
The dagger that Nip had for the hearts of Space Station gets turned around on them, and with that, it's now a commanding amount of control for SSG. The execute still happening though, knowing that matchup. This time around, they do not get away with it, as clock strikes 0 on them, and they get punished by Rampy below. And this was the marks that were in sight. Why? Because all of the information from Space Station was allowed to stay up. That Evil Eye cam was not taken out. The marks continued on and on and on again. And now, map 5 is very much looking likely.
The crowd's calling for it. We might just see it. This the last round.
Ever so close, though. It could go to OT.
But look at that! Canadian, the first kill as he runs out on Muzi. No Claymore, possibly just a kill in the window, whatever it was. And now advantage for SSG in this, possibly one of the most crucial rounds of their careers.
So with that, they take out the Zofia. They silence Muzi. Pino has been doing great work for this team. Musi has fallen off. Nip will turn into construction and wait. Was it even a run out? No, it wasn't. It was just well played. This is so common for a Pulse. You have to be expecting that. Spirit may not be broken of Ninjas in Pyjamas. There's still one more map. There's an awful lot of time for both of these teams to be able to do their best to claim the title of World Champions. Down below is still Canadian. It has not been discovered. And because you need these two hard breachers and a Thatcher on almost every single round, it handicaps you as to what you do next. Psycho on the button, as well as the Zofia in the hands of Musi, means that there's no IQ. You can't really accurately track that pulse. And if nobody is too keen to drone, Canadian will still be down there. Bolts from above, he punishes Pino. Ninjas in Pyjamas are not even able to get into the site. Both the ADSs are seen, and Psycho almost throws a grenade in when he would have known that it would get caught. On to drone, one will go. Bolts punishes Julio. So many mistakes being made right now by Nip, as Space Station are deep inside of their head. They also happen to be deep into the lead. 5v2. Not a lot of time left. And Nip will stall out, lacking some crucial utility. When we see it, one left, it's Kamikaze. And
SSG was not great, and I think that the Sonics were very precise with how they took Moto control. And then honestly, a lot of it fell down to gunfights too.
Yeah. I mean, literally, they've been twice as good on attack as they were on defense.
Right.
But that's not saying much. Oh, there we go. Rampy decided to flip the on switch back on, takes out one of the hard breachers. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult if they need to do any trickery with that, but they still have the thermite for the cash wall.
Oh no, Canadian,
or do they hit your shots?
Do they?
Hit your shots! Oh, come on! Gumpy gets away by the skin of his teeth on what should have been a very, very easy kill for Canadian, and he's going to be kicking himself from that one. But you've been able to do so much damage to the Zofia that, well, you can see it's going to flash red for the rest of this round. Does he dare jump out? There's no Claymore. Super is on drone. There goes a C4. Gumpy comes up. Super had no idea that there was anybody there, so Canadian will re-engage. All it's going to take is one bullet onto the Zofia. Maybe two, who knows? Still low enough. But he won't do any more damage than he's already done. Doesn't overextend at all. Slevin gets called into action. Up blue stairs he goes. Fultz might be able to catch him on Garage. But there's a shot that rings down from the top of red. Fultz sees him, lines up, hits like a truck, why don't you? Gumpy's downed as well. It's got us in a 1v5. They've already got 2 flawless rounds under their belt. What about a flawless round to send them to map 2 with an advantage here? Nobody wants to be in the position that she's in. She's not going to win her.
That includes operator-specific cameras as well, so things like Valkyrie camera is Maestro's Evil Eyes, the Yokai, so on and so forth.
Well, Fox A now having control of stock, but gets quickly dispatched from Rampy. And you want to talk about somebody that's dangerous on land. Laxi was talking about how land is his environment yesterday. It's also this man's environment. Rampy, ever since he's been on land, has been an absolute force to be reckoned with. Canadian sends a nice surprise to Vertical, claims the kill, moves on with his day. Reciprocity already injured inside of this match point round for SSG.
SSG looking so strong at this point. Rec once again trying their best to make something happen out of this one. But all the map control is just back under the control of Space Station. Wall's still not open. They do have Retro and Lax that can make an attempt at that, but with the Bandit on the other side, there's not going to be much of a hope. Another player falling as Nyx tries to complete a flank through the basement. Retro also falling a second later as he tries to make a first entry. Everything's on Laxing now, and the Blue Stairs player should already have a good idea that he's nearby. And there you go, Rampy makes the run out, gets the last kill on Laxing, and we see Space Station Gaming take solid control of map number 1 of this best of 5.